Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. This Wednesday, I was in this building and I looked down on my cell phone and I saw the news, the ceasefire, the hostage deal. It was a little bit strange though, because on one hand there was this relief and this anticipation of the hostages coming home, what we've hoped for, what we prayed for 15 months. So powerful and wonderful and cathartic. And yet it was not this straightforward reaction on the other hand. It wasn't just celebratory. As I talked and I saw other people were also in the same feeling. They felt a little bit conflicted, and it was complicated. So much uncertainty around what's exactly going to happen. Some people saying that it's a terrible deal, but the best deal we could get. And then going back, remembering the last time Hamas released the hostages and the psychological warfare that they played for every single one. And the pain that we went through to try and get to this place. And the unease, is everybody actually going to come home or not? And the thought of freeing terrorists as part of this deal, very hard to bear. And what's going to happen through all of it? And how are we going to feel? And then the yes, it's happening, no, it's not happening, yes, it's happening, and the emotional roller coaster that we've been on this whole time. And of course, it's happening at the same time as when we read in the Torah the story of the enslavement of the Jewish people down in Egypt in the beginning of the Exodus, and how they became mired in darkness and oppression and slavery, and they called out to God to save them from their crushing labor at the hands of the Egyptians. And as the Torah says, their oppression got worse and worse. It was beparech, is the word in the Hebrew, just the harshest oppression you can imagine. And so Egypt to the Israelites, and it's become in our tradition just a symbol for psychological, emotional, spiritual hell, really. On some level, not so different from the hostages, right? And one level, there are differences. So the Israelites, as we recall, whenever we do Passover, their descent into slavery was slow. They began with Joseph, everything was going well, and then one measure at a time, their fate declined. The hostages were taken one terrible day 15 months ago. It's the same hell, and I think we all felt from the very beginning of this, after we heard the news of their taking, that the situation was going to be psychological, physical, spiritual hell for them. A place where their life just hangs in the balance every day. It's unimaginable. And so we've been praying every week this prayer in synagogue, an ancient prayer for Jewish captives, millennia old, that God should release all our captives from captivity to redemption, from darkness to light, now, soon, hashta, bagala. And this is how we felt, that this was cosmic. This wasn't just a situation, this is a sense of sheer evil of what was happening to them. And now we wonder, how's it going to happen? What condition will it be? And so funny, we watch the movies about the Exodus from Egypt. It's always this moment, they leave Egypt and everybody's leaving and there's this transcendent joy and happiness. Finally, it's come. They blow the shofar or the horn and everybody's just happy we're leaving Egypt. But if you actually read the text, it wasn't so simple. The Midrash says a lot of them actually stayed in Egypt, and they weren't out of it yet. They had to march to the borders. They had to leave Egypt. There was all this uncertainty. They'd been there for 400 years, and leaving the towns where they were was just the beginning. They had to still cross the Red Sea. That was really when the Exodus happened. But on the other hand, that night was the night. That's the night we remember at Passover. That was the night when it happened. That was when freedom came and brought them from captivity. That's when redemption came across Egypt. And it was a new beginning. And I saw this comment online over the last few days from an Israeli journalist, Rachel Sharansky, who's the daughter of Nathan Sharansky. And what she said at this moment is a little bit like a birth. You've been waiting 9 months for the birth to happen, and you've been waiting all this time, and suddenly it happens, but you look at the baby, you're like, oh no, this is just the beginning. There's so much more that's happening. And so this is really a new beginning, a new moment with its own challenges and difficulties and uncertainty. And we have to take the steps that we can. And I want to end with a prayer by Rabbi Evan Schultz, who wrote, if they are alive, Dayenu, enough. If they can whisper, Dayenu. If they can speak, Dayenu. If they can remember, Dayenu. If they can stand up, Dayenu. If they can hold, Dayenu. If they can love, Dayenu. We don't know whether or not they can, but we know that we will love them, and we love them and their families. We pray to walk together to the next stage of our freedom. Shabbat Shalom. Please rise for